Maseches Bava Metzia Daf Lamed Gimel Amud Beis in the very bottom of the page. Yeah, very good. We're in time. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. So we started the Perek HaMafkid, the third Perek of Bava Metzia, and the Perek tells us in the Mishnah that if a person was mafkid an item, animals, or an item by someone, by Shomer Chinam, let's say we're talking about Shomer Chinam, the Shomer Chinam could have easily said the truth, and he did say the truth. What did he say? It was stolen or lost, but in a level of theft that is beyond my duty. I was not supposed to look after it to such a level, which means I'm potter. I don't have to pay you for the item that got lost. And I could have just made a shvua. You really would have to make 3 shvuas. We're not going to the details. And those shvuas would make me potter. I wouldn't have to pay you. Yet I'm such a good boy, I decided to pay you nevertheless, to pay you the full price of the item. At that happy moment, what happens? We say that the Bailim, the real owner, is makne, basically gives over, kilu sells the rights of the kefel to the shomer. And now, once the ganav gets caught, once the ganav is caught and pays kefel, etc., then the kefel would not belong, the double payment, the fine of kefel, does not go to the owner. It goes to the shomer, to the guard, to the shomer chinam, because he bought it, he acquired it through what? Through deciding, through, stepping. So we think at the moment, by the way, it's going to change, but we're saying that because he was, did beyond the line of duty, and he gave cash, good cash to the owner instead of starting, to, get out of it, legally get out of it. So then he gets the kefil. There are a lot of questions here. Already questions. We're just summarizing. Yeah. Review questions are accepted now at this stage. Yes. I'm with you all the way. Commercial time. The Gemara now asks a question, 4 lines from the bottom of the page. Maskif Rami Bar Choma. Rami Bar Choma now attacks what we just said in the Gemara. The Gemara explains that people have in their minds, the Gemara Chachomim assumed, highly assumed, in their great knowledge and understanding of human nature, Chachomim understood that very, very, very probably a person is happy. Which person? The owner is happy to have cash in his hands and get out of all the legalese business here and just get the cash. And we assume that for having one bird in the hand, cash now, he prefers giving the maybe possible futuristic kind of gain, although it's more, it's double, and he's happy to give that to the shomer. That's the psychology over here. So now that's a very nice idea in psychology. We're not studying psychology now. We're studying law. We're studying Jewish law now. And the question is, I have 2 questions. The first question is the Gemara's question. Maskif Rami Bar Choma. Rami Bar Choma attacks the above statement. A person cannot be makne, cannot give over, cannot sell anything that did not yet come to the world. And this kefil business, now the cow, is not here. The cow was stolen. And you give me 5,000 shekels worth of the cow. That's very nice. So I'm selling you now what? The extra 5,000 that the ganav, will give you. What? If we catch him, the Gemara will discuss that too. But first, that's also true. Where are they? They're not here in the world, right? Brooklyn Bridge actually is in the world. The kefil is not yet in the world. How can it? I think I don't know. Lamaisa, London Bridge. How can you sell something that's not there yet? My question is, by the way, I'm adding a question. And Rashi and Tosfos relate to that question. Which kinyan is imakne with? Let's say the thing exists now. Look, this is real. Look at my beautiful watch. Very expensive, 50 shekels. Now this watch is real. Let's say, Yitzchak's such a nice guy. Every morning, tea, nice, I want to be makni to you because you're nice and you smile to me. I want. Where's the kinyan? No, okay. Where's the kinyan? Meshicha, Agba, Chotzer? It has to work. Forget about the fact that it's only in the future. Even if the kefil was here now, where's the kinyan? In other words, at which point was there Meshicha, Agba, Chotzer, Chazaka, Shtar? There are 20 of them, Kiyaskaf, shaking your hand is a kinyan. Where is it? Which kinyan is it? Okay? Besides the fact that the item is not yet here, Where's the action in the whole Maisa of wanting and caring and loving? Where is the Maisa, the actual physical kinyan? Every kinyan has to be physical. You have to pull, right? You have to pick up, you have to ride a stop. Where is it? The kefel. Besides the fact that the kefel is not here, even if the kefel was here, I want many things. So do something about it. So I will answer my question first, okay? And then I'll let the Gemara, and then we'll continue to the Gemara, unless you have a quick suggestion. I prefer, yes, quick. No, you can't be kind of a Machshava. I'm sorry, this is hard and fast. Yeah. But even retroactive has to have a kinyan. You are answering the Gemara's question that the item is not yet here. Even where is the physical kinyan? The answer is as follows. The answer is as follows. When the person, meaning the owner, gave the cow to the shomer to look after, there was an action of meshicha or mesira. The cow itself mooing away, or any other item actually, could be also glasses or whatever, were taken into the house of the shomer. So we understand, well, that's not a kinyan. Why? Because this is really just for you for safekeeping, to look after the deposit. Says the Gemara, and Rashi is sort of like more than hinting to this twice, that's kinyan meshicha. In other words, I'm telling you now, even though they didn't verbally say it. In that respect, Yaakov, you're right. We assume that what goes in their minds is, when I give you a cow, when I give you my kalim, my dishes to look after, and I know there may be theft, and I know you may be a good guy who'll give me cash, I now decide that this meshicha is double purpose. I'm giving it to you for as a deposit, but I'm also makne it to you. I'm selling you now the kefel that's in the cow. That's what we think right now. But still the question is that the kefel didn't come to the world. But the action is the meshicha. When the animal is pulled to the house of Mr. Shomer, at that moment, that's an action of meshicha. There is an act of meshicha, and meshicha is a kinyan. I'm not answering the Gemara's question yet. The Gemara's question is still loud and clear. He's not giving him the cow, right? What is he giving him? The kefel in future. Kilo the mice now of pulling the cow. I makne to you now the kefel that's in the cow. Let me crystallize what I'm saying. And this is a huge yasoid that the Achronim talk about over here, and then we continue. As I told you many times, I inserted this idea to you. I planted it in your minds many times before, and here is the source for the idea. You tell me, how many halachic actions, try and think seriously now, without joking, yeah? How many halachic actions can I do with this halachic or secular actions can I do with this watch, which is Baruch Hashem under my ownership? I have the right to sell it. Yeah, I'm not intending on marrying any woman. Baruch Hashem, I'm happy with my wife. But if I wanted to, I could be mekadesh a woman. Ibon Beis Hamikdash, I can be makdish this to Beis Hamikdash. That's 3. And what I'm trying to say is, I can also be mafkirit. I can be mafkirit. I can sell it. I shouldn't break it. Maybe baltashris. I can bequeath it, which is automatic. After I die, my children will get the watch. I hope they don't fight over it. Yeah, if I keep it till 120, lo meshane. But lemaisa, every ownership has different segments. Look at ownership as a big cake. Look in those graphs. Yeah, and there are many different applications to an ownership. One application of owning a cow or a watch or whatever is that if it gets stolen, then the kefel belongs to me, the bailim. That is what I makne to the guy. It's still difficult because it didn't come to the world, right? But the Maisa, I want to be makne the kefel that will come with it. That part of the ownership I makne to the shomer. Yeah, in other words, I can decide, listen, Yitzchok, I'm not giving you the watch, it's my watch, but I'm selling you the hefker rights. I'm not able to be mafkir, you'll be able to be mafkir. That can be done. I'm selling you one aspect of the ownership. But we're still asking the question, don't let me get off the hook. The question is, the kefel didn't yet come to the world. We could say maybe the potential kefel is here, we consider attractive. We're almost there. We're almost there, also based on what I just told you now. But the question is still now, the kefel itself, hard cash given by the Ganev in court, is not yet here. So it's nice you're doing Mashiach on the cow, but where's the kefel? You're selling him now something that will only come to fruition, maybe, as you correctly said, Peretz, in future. So the question is still here, and we're still in the middle of the question. Continues the Gemara of Filul Rabbi Meir. We've met Rabbi Meir many times. We saw him at the end of Bava, and we saw him In Kiddushin, we didn't do it together. Rabbi Meir says, and we saw it before in Daf Tezayin, I think the Omar, Rabbi Meir says, Rabbi Meir is of the opinion that a person may be makne, may sell something that's not yet in the world. The source of Rabbi Meir is, I think, a Brisa in Kiddushin Daf Samech Gimel, I think Amud Aleph. It says over there, and we learned it not so long ago, a person can tell a woman, you know, I'm a Kaddish you now, and he's a goy. You know his name, obviously, yeah. And he says soon it will not be Tim McKenzie, I'll be Matisyahu Mekioichanon, yeah. And what? And then I'll be Megayer. I'm in the process of Gior, of Gerus, and I'm a Kaddish you now, yeah, when I will become a Yid. He's not yet Yid. Who says the Beis Din will agree? Who says he'll be Jewish, yeah? He's going to an Eshes Ish. Sounds not so nice. He's going to his neighbor, the Eshes Ish, and I don't know exactly the dynamics over there, but it's a case, yes. He says to her, Aret Mukudeshesli, once your husband dies. You know, when he gets out of the way, when he dies, Mukudesh to me now. Yeah? When I mean now, when it will happen. It says, Rabbi Meir works. You can sell and do all kinds of halachic transactions based on the future. So Rabbi Meir is of the opinion that you may sell something that didn't yet come to the world. So maybe our Mishnah follows Rabbi Meir. Oh, okay, that'll be a good solution. Maybe our Mishnah, Stam Mishnah Rabbi Meir, by the way, right? Maybe our Mishnah is Rabbi Meir. Says the Gemara, Hani Mili, even Rabbi Meir would not work in our Mishnah. Would not, that's not a good solution to stick the Mishnah and pin it to Rabbi Meir. Why? Hani Mili, when did Rabbi Meir say what he says? Hani Mili, Rabbi Meir's words are true. Higon Peros Dekel, Davidi de Osu. Peros Dekel means that I have a tree, and the Dekel, the palm tree, did not yet yield fruit. Oh, now it's after Shemitah, and I'm telling you now, I'm telling my good friend Baruch, the fruit that will come, will grow on the Dekel in half a year's time. I'm selling it to you now. That works according to Rabbi Meir, the Avidi de Osa, that are likely to come. If you have a palm tree, Bezos Hashem, it's very likely, very probable that really the fruit are going to come. And therefore, even Rabbi Meir only said you can be makne something that is not yet here if it's very likely that it's going to happen. 1 minute, please. You have a problem with Rabbi Meir and the marrying people? Rak rega, rak rega, rak rega. So your big moment is coming now. Aval hocho, seriously. Aval hocho, but over here, lamedaled, over here, miemar de meganva. Who said it's going to get stolen? Yeah, who said b'chlal the car or the dishes will get stolen? And we were starting a flow chart. The intim tilamer de miganva. Even if you want to tell me they will get stolen, miemar de mishtakach ganav. Who said the thief will get caught? I assume most of them don't. Yeah. Who says the thief will get caught? The imishtakach ganav. And in the third, maybe, even if you find the ganav, the police is uncharacteristically functional, and they'll find the ganav. Miemar de mishalim. Who says the ganav will pay kefel? When does the person not have to pay kefel? Dilma maybe moidiu miftar. Maybe he'll admit before Eidim come, right? Before the Eidim come, he'll come to Beis Din, tears in his eyes, with a nice look and say, yeah, I admit I stole, I admit that I stole. Then he doesn't have to pay the kefil. So you have three variables here. There are three questions, there are three maybes. Maybe the kefil won't come. Even Rabbi Meir does not agree that, again, this is not just future and not yet now. It's very unlikely that a person actually will get kefil to his hands. Maybe it won't get stolen, all good. If it gets stolen, who says they'll catch him? Even if he'll catch him, who said he'll pay kefil? Halachically, he doesn't always have to pay kefil. There's so many maybes. So even Rabbi Meir believes that's a real castle in the air. And therefore, our Mishnah is in trouble deep. And I'm listening to you. And I have something to say now also. Okay. I have a question here. And Baruch Hashem, I had a chiddush, which maybe is written somewhere, I don't know, but I saw that, and it's one of those moments when the Chabrusa got excited with what I said. And that is like this. Let me ask a question. What's more likely? You guys and me, we think the whole Vorter is statistics, right? It's all about statistics and chances. We are wrong. Let me ask you a question. What's more likely? Let's say a guy goes to his neighbor, and that's Nishta Shene Maisa, and her husband is young, 35 years old, very, very healthy. Statistically, he's not about to die. And the guy goes to the lady and tells her, Arak Mukadesh Esli, when your husband dies. Now, he's not a murderer. He may be looking the wrong direction. He's not a murderer. What's more like? Says Rabbi Meir, yes, she's Mukadeshes. What? You just says Rabbi Meir only says what he says when things are likely to happen. But in this case of the Ganav, it's not so likely. Who said it will get stolen? Who said we'll catch him? And who said he'll pay the kefil? My question is, what are you talking about? Gerus? How can a guy A guy meets a Jewish girl, yeah, and he says, when I'm Megayer, you're Megayer? At least 5 years in London, based in, with a lot of maybes, 5 years plus, just the minimum process. Yeah. To Mechitesi, right? That's a huge question on the whole Sugya. The answer is as follows. Throw into the, excuse my language, please all throw into your garbage everything we know about statistics. We're not learning here statistics about percentages 50, 60, 70%. That is as follows. How many, look at the numbers, mitzad, how many things, how many halachic and technical steps are there between the situation now and what I want to sell in the future? Although it's very unlikely that 35 years old, a gym athlete will die, only one, I'm using very childish lotion, I say thing, only one occurrence, one thing has to happen for the marriage to catch, and that is him dying. Half a second heart attack, and that's it. It's very unlikely he'll die. But the barrier between their marriage and reality and future is one, him dead. And all other cases there, when your sister dies, the two brothers-in-law, when I'm a gear is only 1 second. It's true that it's a process, but lemaisa, the gear is one thing. Goy, half a second in the mikveh. Of course, he has to learn. Yeah, mikveh, okay, mikveh, bris milah. But halachically, there's one thing that happens at becoming a Jew. Here, that's where the Gemara, if you notice, it gets very verbose over here. Usually the Gemara doesn't go and tells you maybe, maybe, maybe. Here the Gemara wants to tell you, technically speaking and halachically, you have 3 things that have to happen. Theft, catching the thief, and halachically the thief paying. So because we have a process of 3 barriers between us and what we want to achieve at the end of the game, the trophy there at the end, the cup, Mimela, we say that even according to Rabbi Meir is Dovash Lo Baloilo. And therefore it's not about 50%, 60, 70. It's about how many occurrences are on the way. There, check it, it's all one. Him dying, him becoming Jewish, she becoming Jewish. It's very hard to become Jewish, but it's it's a split second business. Goy, boom, out of the mikveh, Jewish. That's all that has to happen. So statistically, you're right. But mitzad the halachic stages here, there's only 1 over there and 3 over here. That's why also the Gemara goes into Arichus Loshon and gets over both to tell me all the maybes, maybes, maybes. And that's why the question is, that's it. That's a question. Okay, can I ask now? North Korea is coming soon. Yeah. That's good. Fine. Say that. Those 3 probabilities by let's just get this straight. We're still in a question now, because our Mishnah talks about something that may only happen in the future, and even according to Rabbi Meir, it should not be a functional kinyan. Not only it's in the future, but there's 1 step between me and the future. There are 3 steps between me and what I want to sell now, which will only happen in the future after 3 maybes. So we don't understand how could the Mishnah tell me that Mr. Owner sells, even if he's doing Mashiach, the item will only come in the future. Omer, and here I think Ellen is your big moment. Says Robert, there are 2 answers. Answer number 1, and now Ellen will be happy. It's as if the owner tells the shomer, Chazal read his mind, and we assume that that's what he's trying to tell him without saying it. Like Shetigonev, the Tirtze, the Shalmeni, there are many, many maybes. If it gets stolen, if this and that, and if you pay me, you'll be a good boy, you'll pay me cash now in a nice envelope and not start telling me stories. Retroactively, which means now look at Bessie moving away. What a nice cow. She's now being pulled to your house in Kenyan Mashiach. The cow is yours now, and condition that if, no problem, you can have 10 ifs. That's like selling, that's like having something that exists in the world now. He's selling him the cow itself. I'm selling you the cow, which means that if A, B, C, D, F, G can have 20 conditions, we decide the conditions. If all those conditions will happen and you really will pay me in half a year's time, then now in Cheshvan Tavshin Pei base, where now I'm doing the Mashiach, the cow is yours retroactively all the way from now. Yeah, very nice. It's not the future. I'm selling something now, providing you'll do so and so. And that everyone agrees to that. I can sell you, where's the watch? I can sell you the watch now if tomorrow you'll tell me happy birthday, Sunday birthday. If tomorrow you'll smile to me all day long, then now the watch is yours. Here, do the Mashiach now. You will only really kick in the Kenyan if tomorrow you'll do ABC. And that absolutely works. That's not in the future. But really, you know what he owns? He owns the cow. Not like we said before, only the kefel in the cow. He owns the cow, meaning once the Ganav, the Ganav will bring it back, will bring the cow alive and kicking, then he'll get the cow. The kefel he gave me, he'll get the cow as a kefel. Maskiflo, or he'll get the kefel of the cow. Maskiflo, whichever. Lamai said he's the owner of the cow. Mimela, the kefil belongs to him. Yeah, already from now. You know, in other words, if nothing happens and the cow doesn't get stolen or doesn't this or it doesn't pay or doesn't get caught in Achnami, the cow remains who? Remains the bailim. Or if you don't pay me, you swear the cow belongs to me and the kefil belongs to me. I'm the owner. If you behave yourself and you in future will be nice and give me cash, then what will I do? No, not what will I do. Then we know retrospectively already by the time of giving the cow over the first moment when they met, the bailim and the shomer, he did the Mashiach. From that moment of Mashiach, the cow belongs to the who? To the shomer. Amen. The kefil is his. Very nice. Maskif lo Rabzera. Rabzera now attacks what Rova just said. If so, you're saying that if A, B, C, D, and a nice payment at the end of the horizon means retroactively all the time the cow belonged to the shomer, right? If so, look at something cool. Mazel tov. There's a king. There's a mazel tov. Afilu gizoseh uvlodoseh onami. What would be if Bessie the cow was given in Tishrei, Tafshin Pei Beis was given to the shomer, and he got stolen in Nisan half a year later, and everything happened. Retroactively, from Tishrei, you say, really, now we know that from Tishrei, he really belonged to the owner. You know what happened in Kislev? Just on Chanukah, Shane Kindle, very nice. There's a little calf was born. Now you're telling me who's the owner of the calf? Who? The shomer. Because since the shomer and Nisan paid the whole thing nicely without uttering a word, he gave him a cash with an envelope with cash. So what? Yeah. So you're saying that the babies should also belong to the shomer? What about if it's a sheep that came on Tishrei absolutely shaven? Yeah, mama shaven, and then has very nice wool afterwards. You're telling me the wool would belong really to the shomer? Yes, because you're saying the entire thing belongs to him right from the start if he did ABC. Lama Tanya, why does it say in the Brisa not like you? No, it says that besides the gizas of Lodois, right? In other words, that the gizas and Lodois, the shorn wool and the babies born to the animal, in the interim between getting it and it being stolen and given back the cash, we say that he does not own the gizas and Lodois, the babies and all the byproducts. Why not? According to you, they should, because you're saying that the actual cow was really his right from the start, and we only know it in the future. Why not? Ela, Omer Abzera, Dr. Abzera must be Nasa Omerloi. Again, we read the mind of the owner. It's as if he told him, the cow will be yours if you're a good boy, and if it gets stolen, you pay me. The cow is yours, or the sheep, or the whatever, except for the byproducts, the wool and the babies. What makes you decide that? You're saying that he owns the cow as a good man, right? And therefore he gets the kefel of the cow, but he doesn't get the gizas and bloodus of the cow. Why? Who told you? Why are you pastor in such a arbitrary way? You decide that. Who said? Answers the Gemara. Again, we're playing psychology. The entire page here is human psychology. Stam demilsa, the assumed stam, the assumed word, the assumption is, of human behavior. Shvach de osame alma ovid inish demakni. Shvach, again, a profit that comes from the outside world, is not something that I see so much as mine, mine, mine. I'm less possessive about it. And therefore, people are more easy to be makne and give over, especially since he got the cash and he's happy with the shomer. Probably he wants to give him some kind of side profit of the ganev, who's going to give them kefel. That's kilu, an indirect gain coming from the cow. That is happier to give him as a bonus, as a prize for good behavior, for giving cash now nicely. My wool, my babies, something that comes from the gufa. What's gufa? From the body of the cow, the body of the sheep. A person sees more as his own. He's a bit, more sad to part from that. And mistama, the prize, so to speak, yeah, that he gives the shomer for paying quickly is what? Is something that comes as an outside thing, which is the kefel, and not something that actually comes from the physical body of the animal. That's Rove. So let's summarize. Let's summarize Rove. We have everything good. According to Rove, everything is nice. Says Rove as follows. What is the action of the Kinyan? Meshicha. You pull the cow, and you potentially now bought the cow. The cow you bought, what? You bought the cow itself, except for Gizus of Lodois, yeah, and yes, for Kefel. When do you buy the cow? Now. But there are conditions. It's yours now if A, B, C, D, E, F, G will happen, and at the end you'll pay me cash and don't give me trouble, then retroactively, as you very nicely said, how do you say retroactively in Hebrew? Lemaf. Nice. Lemafrea. Shomer. Of course. Yeah. Shomer to his house. Shomer. Yeah. And then it's all very nice. Why not Gizus of Lodos? We assume that's not part of the deal. Gizus of Lodos are part of the actual enemy. Ikadamri. Some say differently. Some argue not on Rava. They argue on what Rava. They argue regarding how to learn Rava. Ikadamri Omar Rava. Some people say that Rava never said what you said he said. They quote Rava as saying differently. What do they say Rava said? Similar but different. It's when they do the Meshicha, yeah, that's not the Kinyan. The Kinyan is not Meshicha, but rather it's as if he told him, Lek shetigonev, if it gets stolen, and if they catch him, and if instead of the Ganev, yeah, paying, yeah, and you'll pay me after it gets stolen, and you don't swear, you pay me cash, and then the Ganev will get caught, then what? Then I say, the right before the Gneva, it will be yours. Wow. We are now deciding, let's say it's Tishrei, and we say, we don't know if it gets stolen, but as you correctly said, you know, a lot of Jews are thieves, we say, yeah, the Gemara says that, it may happen a theft. If, let's say, in Kislev, Tevis, Shvat, Adar, it will get stolen, and you behave properly, and you quickly pay me, listen to this. Then we decide now that the moment before the Gneva, it became yours. It will become yours. Now, still the question is, where's the Kinyan? You can't say Kinyan Meshicha, because Kinyan Meshicha of now doesn't work with the pause button to only start later. Says Rashi, there's a Kinyan which we learned in Daf Yud Aleph, I think, yeah? And that Kinyan starts with a Ches. Cha? Chotzer, you got the trip to Switzerland, yeah? Chotzer, this new car is yours, yeah? Chotzer, Kinyan Chotzer, which means I'm giving it to your domain. I'm now passing the cow, schlepping it to your house, to your whatever, cow shed, to your farm, to your place. And we decide now that we can do, we unverbally decide the cow will become yours, Bekinyan Chotzer, the second before a theft, a potential theft. If it gets stolen and you behave and you pay me quickly, then a second before the theft, and only then it will be yours. What did we gain by that? The Gemara is going to say soon. I want you guys to tell me. So what happens if there's a baby born? Let's say the cow was given in Tishrei, and in Pesach it was stolen. The regal Pesach, the Ganev stole it, and he gave birth in Kislev. Is there any issue about the babies? No, because we said it's only his right before the theft, which took place in Nisan. As the Gemara itself says, "My beinayu." What is the difference practically, halachically, practically? What's the difference between Rava A and Rava B? What did Rava A say? Rava in the first version said, "Really, the cow is yours now. If retroactively all the way now, it's yours now completely, except for Gizus of Lodos, which is an issue." The second answer of Rava said no. The second version of Rava said no. It's not yours bichlal. It will be yours before it gets stolen. How can we decide? We can. Because we now say, I'm now giving it your chotzer, that's kinyan chotzer, and I can put a very long pause button. Yeah, pause. Your kinyan chotzer will only kick in right a minute before it gets stolen. Mimela the Ganev will owe you the kefel, because you'll be the owner right before the theft, if you promise to behave nicely like a good boy. Now, what's the difference practically between them? It's all very nice in philosophy. What's the difference? One thing I told you, the question of Rabbi Zera regarding Vlodos and Gizus of Vlodos. Yeah? If the animal, anytime between the giving over, the beginning of the process, to the gneva if the animal has babies, or the sheep starts, looking like some Afro singer, there's like a whole, all over the place, and that's worth a lot of money. Then what? Then, according to the first answer, it was a maybe. Then we had to say he only means this, it doesn't mean that. According to the second answer, it's great. Why? Because according to the second answer, no, it was not yours bichlal, right? It will only become yours in, let's say, Nisan, right before potential theft. But if you gave birth or had a lot of woolly hair before the theft, way before the theft, not a second before the theft. I don't know if I stressed it enough, yeah? The whole word is, it will become yours, beginning chotzer, a second before the theft. So anything happens in between, of course, belongs to me, the owner, not to the shomer. It never started. We press the pause button till a second before the theft. Then it will happen. Inami, another difference. The kaima be'ogom. What happens if the cow actually was stolen from the agam? Agam here does not mean a lake. Agam means the grazing area of animals, mentioned many times in the Gemara. What's the difference? What kind of kinyan is koine? According to the first Rava, the kinyan was meshicha right from the start, and then who cares if you stole it from the house, stole it from the sheep, stole it from the shopping center? But the second teretz said what? No, meshicha of now cannot work for later, for right a second before the theft. So what does work? What does work? Chotzer. Chotzer. No, chotzer only works in your domain, your possession of the shomer. Let's say the animal was out and about, having its walk around town, or its walk around the grazing area with its friend, was stolen from there. Then it doesn't work. It does not work. Why? Because kinyan chotzer only applies when the animal is really by you, really in your house, in your garden, in your forest, private forest. But if the animal is outside, right? No kinyan chotzer. If the animal was not in the domain of the shomer, no kinyan chotzer. And you say, when does it apply? When it gets stolen? No, it was stolen from the outside world, and therefore then it will not belong to the ganav at all, to the shomer, and the shomer will not get kefel. Wow, will not get kefel because kinyan has to happen, and there was no kinyan meshicha. That was a long time ago, according to the second opinion, and there was no kinyan chotzer because the animal happened to be on vacation outside the house, and therefore in that case really won't get the kefel because the technicalities are against him. We got to the 2 dots, and peanut gallery are strong. 1, 2. Yes, and after that we continue. 2 dots, line starts with 2 dots. Now we're up to a surprise. Why are we up to a surprise? I want to give a small akdoma. We thought up until now that, you tell me, why does the shomer get the kefel? Quick, any way you want to define it? Why does the shomer get the kefel? What did he do to deserve to get the kefel? Because he did not find the thief. I'm sorry. No, I'm happy I'm asking. He did not find the thief. No, he doesn't have to find it. He was drinking his coffee, reading the newspaper, playing football, whatever, and he did not find it. Police found it. How was he calling it? Because why? Because he paid. Nice. Says Rabbi Yitzchok, he paid. He paid and he didn't have to. He paid the actual money for the stolen goods, which he didn't have to. Why didn't have to? Because it was gneva v'aveda. It wasn't pshia. It was not within his, domain, with his limited required shmira. It was beyond, and yet he paid. What a good boy. That's what we thought up until now. Now things are going to change. Amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Lo shilem mamesh. Not only if he mamesh paid cash now, not only then he gets the kefel, when eventually the ganav will be found. Not only if he paid, once he stated, once he declared, I'm sending you a lot of work now, people. He declared it in Beis Din. According to some Rishonim, he cannot retract from what he says, and he said, "Hareini meshalem." Let's say stood in Beis Din and he promised, and he said, "I will pay." Afal pisheloi shilem, still he already gets it. In other words, still it all makes sense as of now. In other words, basically Rabbi Yochanan extends what the Mishnah says, so to speak. Says Rabbi Yochanan, not only if he paid cash, not only that, so to speak, merit, he gets the kefel. Even if he stated in Beis Din, I will pay, instead of, what's the other option? Instead of swearing and getting off the hook legally, he said, I'm paying. He said it. Oh, the Baalim is already happy. As his master of the Rishonim, the Baalim, no, true. He ticked the box. he believes he's going to really pay. It's done in Beis Din. Once you stated, you declared, you said, I'm going to pay, that's good enough for me, the Bailim, to view you positively and say, I got the cash, or I almost got the cash. It's just a technicality until I'll get it, and that's good enough. So says Rabbi Yochanan. I'm not saying everyone agrees. That's Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, he's extending the Mishnah. It's not the Shomer's fault so far. No, it's not true. It's his fault, but not his fault, because Lamaisa, he did not have to look after Gneva Vaveda level. No, he was looking after it well enough, and it still happened. He doesn't have to pay. What in fault? Had he been extra good, it wouldn't have happened. But it doesn't have to be extra good. It's not within his responsibility. A simple word. Zok the Gemara. Wait a second. Let's read the Mishnah and see if Rabbi Yochanan is right or wrong. We'll look what the Mishnah says. Tanan. Now we have to analyze the Mishnah. What does Mishnah say? Shilem, paid, says the Mishnah. Below Rotza Lishova, he didn't want to take a Shvuah. Sounds like what? Medayik the Gemara. What do we derive from there? Shilem in, lo shilem loy. Sounds like only if he paid. But if he didn't pay, as we say, promises. It can promise a lot of things, even if it's based in. Not everybody from experience. Not everybody who promises things in Beis Din really follows through. So maybe the Mishnah says only if he pays hard cash, only then he gets surprised. Ema Seifa. On the other hand, if you read the Seifa, you see just the other way around. The Seifa of the Mishnah says, Nishba, if he swore, V'lo rotzo l'shalem, he did not want to pay, he opted, two routes, two directions. He opted for swearing and getting off the hook, which is legal. Yeah, I swear to you, and he's right, he's not a liar in the Mishnah. I swear to you that I'll close the door properly. I was not Pasha, I was not on my smartphone when the animal ran away. He ran away beyond my control. He can get off the hook like that. And he did that. He's a regular run-of-the-mill guy. He did not want to pay. Then, obviously, who gets the kefel? The bailim. He doesn't deserve a prize, yeah? Says the Gemara. You see from the intonation of the second part of the Mishnah, Rotza l'shalem taima. The Gemara now reads the Mishnah. Must be the loy rotzo, because he did not want to pay. He opted for shvua. He didn't opt. He didn't want to pay. Then he doesn't get the kefel. Harotzo sounds like if he wanted to pay, that's good enough. Even though he didn't pay, by willing to pay, by wanting to pay, it's good enough. So the Reisha sounds not like Rabbi Yochanan, and the Sefer sounds yes like Rabbi Yochanan. Ela mehol leka l'mashma mino. From this Mishnah, you cannot derive anything. Some Mishnayos, for technical reasons, they have stira b'diyukim. Some Mishnayos are not meduyak when it comes to deriving what I call in good French, falling between the cracks, or in Hebrew, falling between the chairs. There are certain cases that if you read the Reisha, it indicates one way, you read the Sefer, indicates the other way. So from this Mishnah, we can't derive anything. So we don't attack Rabbi Yochanan, but we don't support him from the Mishnah either. Now comes big news. Up until now, so far, let's summarize. Let's summarize again. These are building blocks, one on top of the other. I want you to tell me again, please. Why is it that the shomer who, instead of swearing and getting off the hook, is paying, why does he get the kefel? He paid for the kefel, good. But why is it that the bailim want to give him the kefel? What makes him work that way, think that way, the bailim? Oh, he didn't have to do it. Oh, so up until now, we think he went beyond his call and he really did something more than he had to, and therefore he gets paid. Now, I'm going to blow your bubble. Now, okay, we're not completely wrong, but now we're going to see a completely different perspective. Tanya Kavos say the Rabbi Yochanan. Now we're going to see a brisa that supports Rabbi Yochanan. What did Rabbi Yochanan say? Rabbi Yochanan said not only if he paid cash into the hands of the owner, even if he just said, seriously, I promise I will pay. I don't have cash now, I'll get it. Conceptually, I'm not getting off the hook here. I'm being super nice to you. I will pay you, I promise, and based in, I'll pay you. That's good enough. Already, if the Ganav is now found, now the Ganav is found, and now the Ganav wants to pay kefel, who will get the kefel? The shomer. Even though the shomer didn't yet pay, of course the shomer will have to pay. But even if the shomer, that's a big enough kamina. Get me? In other words, the shomer stood in Beis Din with stern face and he said in front of the dayanim and the lawyers, and he said, what? I will pay. Half a day later, the Ganav was found giving kefel. The kefel will go to the shomer. And of course, the shomer will have to pay the original, the basic amount to the bailing. Obviously, that's what it says here. I wasn't mechadish anything so far. I was misakim. If you get pshat, please, that's good enough. If I'm not into. So, thank you for your patience. Tanya Kavasa Rabbi Yochanan. Now we're going to read the brisa that's two for the price of one. The brisa will support Rabbi Yochanan's idea of what? Of saying I'll pay, it's as if you paid. But plus, we're going to get another mega chiddush. Tanya Kavasa Rabbi Yochanan. You really have to know by heart the four shomrim. Yeah? I once made a chart. Another chart? More? Yeah? Okay. What's a soicha? A renter. A person rented a cow. You know, we all go to rent a cow every once in a while. Car, whatever. Yeah, a soicha po mechavero. He rented a cow. Big machloikus. If it's soicher, a renter, the shomer chinam, a shomer socher. Let's assume now that it's a shomer socher. Okay? The soicher, a renter, is machloikus in the Mishnah daf tzaddigim tzaddalit. Let's assume that now he is a shomer socher. What does the shomer socher have to pay for? There are three levels. We all have it in our minds like that. Pshia, of course, he has to pay the shomer socher for being completely neglectful, right? What about gneva va'aveda, middle of the road pshia? He has to pay for. What about oines, out of his control? Thunder came, doesn't have to pay. Beautiful, you all got call it terakula. A socher par mechaveroi v'nigneva, he got stolen. Stop right here. If he gets stolen, does he have to pay? Yes. Nigneva v'aveda is the middle stage. He has to pay for it. The Amar Halo, and he said, Hareini Meshalim, the Eini Nishba, he says, I will pay and I will not swear and exempt myself. Basically, what he's doing here is he's doing what he has to do. He's not going beyond his call, right? He's paying for the Gneva Vaveda as he's legally mechuyev obligated to pay. He could have sworn, you know what I mean? He could have sworn, La sheker, oy. Basically, this guy is not doing anything beyond being honest. But we all know that people lie, and unfortunately, some people lie in Beth Din. And Mimela, this guy says like this, and the Brisa supports him. He says, "Look, it's a migu in a way." Tosis calls it a migu. I could have lied to you. I could have lied and said that what? What kind of migu does he have? He could have said, "No, there was an oines. A thief came with gun blazing, and thunder came. I don't know, earthquake came. I don't know." He could have said. He didn't. Right? He didn't lie. He just said what? The truth that he really was Gneva Vaveda, and therefore he's obligated, and he's not lying. Listen to this. Then the Ganav was found, yeah, as he admitted that it was a Gneva. Boom! You know, gets the kefel, the soicher. Wow. He didn't do anything beyond his call. But the mere fact that he paid cash, or what did he do? He said he will pay. Omar, he said, I'm willing to pay, and I'm nice. Because, you know, out there are so many liars. I'm an honest guy, and I actually am not lying. I'm admitting that I was wrong. And now, Ellen, you can say what you said before. It was his fault. Now we say it's his fault. Nevertheless, because he could have lied and opted for the truth, we're not giving him a prize. Oh, now completely changed pshat. We're not giving him a prize for not lying. Ella the Maisa, we say, this is Mechavrusa's strong point, and he said true. The owner is happy that he's getting cash. I don't care, says the owner. I'm not giving grades. I'm not his Musa Rebbe. I'm not his kindergarten teacher to teach him behavior. I, the owner, I'm happy I got cash. Or I'm happy that I was seriously promised cash in Beis Din. So whether the guy in the Mishnah did beyond his call, or the guy of this Bryce of supporting Rabbi Yochanan is doing his duty, not beyond his duty, but could have easily lied. No, Edim. It's a situation he could have lied easily. He didn't lie. Lemaisa is paying me, or he's saying he's going to pay. I'm giving him the kefel. Wow, a whole different perspective. And Lemaisa, what are we gaining from here? Also, the Nikud of Rabbi Yochanan, that if he said he's going to pay, it's as if he paid, and now the Ganav will give him the kefel, and of course, the amount, eventually, the shemer will have to give the owner. Omar of Pope. Rav Pope says something on the line, on the same wavelength of Rabbi Yochanan and his brisa, but he continues to talk about other shoymrim. That's a nice cheer for Abba shoymrim. Omar of Pope. Rav Pope is a friend of Rabbi Yochanan here, and he even extends it even more. Omar of Pope. Shomer chinam. Oh, Shemerchina, what is the only case Shemerchina is chayiv? Very nice. Kevin Shama Pashati, Peanut Gallery. I see, not only to ask questions, you also know the answer. That's good. Kevin Shama Pashati. Kevin Shama Pashati, he admitted, and he said, I was Pasha. I was on a foolish smartphone while the animal was running around. Pashati Aviti Khatati. Maknilik Fela. What do we say? Yes, the owner gives him the kefel, even though he didn't go beyond the duty of his call. The bay, had he wanted to, he could have lied so easily and say what? Say it was stolen. He could have said, oh, something beyond my ability, beyond my responsibility happened, and I'm potter. He did not potter himself. So Mimela, once he said, Pashati, he said, I'm going to pay, that's good enough. Next case, Shomer Socho. What does Shomer Socho have to pay for? What levels? Level 1 and 2. He has to pay in case of Pshia and in case of Nevev Aveda, middle of the road. Shomer Socho, Kevin Shomer Nignevo. He said that the item was stolen, which means I am in debt. I owe you. It was Nignav. I'm responsible. It's my fault, as you said. Maknelek Fela. The Baalim gives him the kefel once the Ganav gets caught. The boy, had he wanted to, Potonavshe b'shvura v'mesa. Excuse me. Shvura v'mesa is basically oines. It broke its leg. The animal was walking. Everything was perfect. I was guarding it like a hawk, and it broke a leg. Fine. Once, with little children, remember when he had little children, sometimes you guard them very well, you look at them very well, and they fall and they break something. Yeah. In other words, en malasot oines. He could have said he was oines. He didn't say it was oines. He didn't get off the hook in a deceitful way. He gets the kefil. Because the Maisa, the Baalim has the money. Shayel. Oh, we're going up and up the ladder, nice and slow. Shayel, shomer hareini mishalim. A shoel. What does a shoel have to pay for, rabbis? Everything except for one weirdy case, except for Mesa Machmas Malocha. Mesa Machmas Malocha means as follows. The Shoel has to pay for level 1, Pshia, level 2, Gneva Vaveda, level 3, Oines. Right? Meaning, even if thunder, lightning came, he still has to pay. Why does the Shoel have to pay for everything? Because the Shoel, excuse my French, is a mechutzef. You borrowed. You're not doing me a favor, you're doing yourself a favor and for free. Yeah, over nice to do chesed, but you call ha'ano shaloi. So even if it was bonus, you have to pay. Before we continue, rabbis, the one case a shul does not have to pay is mesa machmas melocha, which means, let's say the animal, as it worked, there's something that was supposed to happen, something that is likely sometimes to happen when animals work as part of the work, they get damaged in a way that's part of the normal use of the animal. Yeah, let's say you borrow a book from your friend. I'm not saying halacha l'maaseh. I think that's enough community today. Ask your local Orthodox dayan, not the rabbi, the dayan. If somebody borrows a book from you and the pages are a bit tarnished, they're not as nice, as fresh as they were before, but he read it the normal way, not the real terrible stain or something. As far as I know, he doesn't have to pay, and I'll give you for the, for some little, maybe tiny tear or for some drop of something. Why? Because it's machmas malacha. It's part of the normal use of the animal or part of the use of the book. And even if the animal dies because of it, it's normal. He worked until he died. Sometimes natural, whatever it's either natural death after a lot of work, or it's something that's a normal mishap during work. That kind of thing a shul doesn't have to pay because that's what he got it for. That's the plus of a shoyel. Shul didn't get it in order to put it in the cupboard. He got the cow to work with it. So if something like a normal within reason work accident happened as it's working, because you got it in order to work, then it doesn't have to pay. I gave you a very general definition now. That will be discussed in Daftar Gimel. Begadol, this is the one and only case out of all the cases where shul does not have to pay. However, it's rather rare. We're not talking about regular wear and tear. Look in the book. Let's say the animal died, and he died because of a lot of work, and he worked with it normally, and it came to the end of its life. Punkt in his hands as he was working. Now, Zok the Gemara, Shoel Shoimer. The fourth case, all of a sudden there's a difference. Shoel Shoimer, Shoel that says, Areini Mishalim, a Shoel says, I'm paying you. Lo makni l'kfeila. Wow. A Shoel that says, I'm paying you, you don't give him the kefel. Shoel is the exception to the rule. Why? B'may havel l'mifta nafshei, b'meisa machmas malacha. The only way that a shomer, which is a shoel, could have lied, what's the upper level by him that he could have lied and get off the hook? He could have said Mesa Machmas Malocha, right? Says the Gemara, that's not so realistic. Mesa machmas melacha lo shchiach. Wow. Because mesa machmas melacha is not common, it's not so common that an animal would die punct in your hands. If you say it and you swear, you are believed. But it's not a very good, what's migo? I could have lied better, right? If I wanted to be a liar, I could have made here a very credible, reliable, good story, and I didn't. Yeah. So not right. This is no migo over here. Why? Because Lamaisa, he said I could have lied and I could have said that he died punct in the middle of the work because the battery got to the end of the battery, so to speak. Yeah. It's not shchiach. It's not so common. So because your potential lie would not be a really believed lie, not so common, maybe would have to believe you if you swear, but it's not something you would have done really. It's not so likely people would talk like that. It's not likely. It's not the everyday common thing. Mimela, it's not considered as if you really chose to pay, you're forced to pay. Because once we take Mesa Machmalach out of the equation, then all three normal cases, common cases, the shal is always chayiv. The shal is stuck in a straitjacket, right? Right? Mesa Machmalach is not a normal thing. It's shtuyot. And therefore, all three cases, Heshal is no way out. Heshal is forced to pay. If you pay by force and not by choice, then you don't get the kefel. Okay? In other words, what's the definition? You get kefel if you choose to pay. Choice can either be like the Mishnah, you went beyond your call, or choice to be, I choose to be a good citizen. I could have lied. I could have let some things, let's say many people lie about, and he didn't. Good boy. But if it's not your choice, you couldn't have lied, then you don't get the kefel. You paid me because you were forced to. Now, ikadami. However, regarding the last case of Shoel, there's another version within Rav Pope. Remember Rava? We had two versions of Rav Papa. Here we have two versions of Rav Pope. The ikadami, some say, Omar Rav Pope, Shoel nami, Shoel too. Shoel is like the other three Shoimrim. Kevin she'omar hareini mishalem. Once the Shah says, I pay, I'm not telling you excuses or lies or fibs and stories, I'm paying. You give him the kefel. What could have he said? Wow. Because he could have said Mesa Machmas Melocho, meaning, although it's not commonly used, the excuse of Mesa Machmas Melocho, and the Dayanim are going to go, and the lawyers are going to go, Lemaisa, if a person stands in Beis Din, he's a shoyel, and he swears, Mesa Machmas Melocho, he's off the hook. So although it's not commonly used and not so balemaisa, but it is potentially there. And therefore it is good enough of amigo according to the second opinion of Rav Papa. So this opinion again says what? If a shoyel chooses to pay and say, I admit that what? Shea, Neva, Oines, any of the chiyuvim, and lemaisa, theoretically, I could have said Mesa Machmas Melocha, which is rare out of the box, but it is a potential thing. Yeah, if you say Mesa Machmas Melocha and you swear in front of an open Sefer Torah and you're a liar, they would believe you. They would have believed you. Mimela is still called that he is a good boy paying out of his own goodwill and he gets the kefel. That's the second opinion of Papa. So again, let's summarize. Rabbi Yochanan came and said what? Rabbi Yochanan said, we're dealing with two issues here. Rabbi Yochanan and his stories are what? Not only if you pay, even if you said you're going to pay in a serious based in environment, you said you're going to pay. The Baalim is happy that they got, that's one, people have like 10 errands on their mind. That errand is off his mind because he knows he's going to pay. Even if he didn't yet pay, he mainly gets the kefal. The second issue of Rabbi Yochanan, joined by Rav Papa, is not only a person goes beyond his call, beyond his duty, even a person who goes within his duty and could have lied, including Shoyel in the second opinion of Papa. He could have told us that really what happened was something he'd be exempt, and he really admits that what he did was wrong, and that's why he's paying. Even though he has to pay, it's still called paying by choice because he could have lied. Once you pay with your choice, I give you. That's the formula. People, I got the formula right now. You need two conditions. You want to be a shomer and get the kefel? Two conditions. Pay or promise you're going to pay. And it has to be your choice. Your choice also includes you could have lied and you chose not to lie. Pay by choice. 1, 2 equals 1 and 1 equals 2. Then you get the kefel. Very nice. Quick. Omar le Rav Zvid. Now comes Rav Zvid with another opinion before we finish the shir. Naka comes Razvid quoting an opinion that argues an off topic. Hachi Amar Abaye. This is what Abaye thinks, not like you. Shoyel ad shi shalem, which means all other shomrim, even if they said, "I'm going to pay," in Beis Din, you said you're going to pay. Baruch Hashem, off the hook. Lovely. Like very much what you're doing, and I'll give you the kefel, says the Bible. A shoyel is the exception to the rule, and unless the show pays, pay, real cash, but bank transfer, until I don't really see the money in my hands, says the Bailim to the shoyel, I'm not giving you any kefel. Why? Says the Gemara, my time, you know why? And we're going to finish with this, which means like this. A shoyel, as we said before, a shoyel is not exactly someone that the Bailim feels indebted to, right? A shoyel kolana shaloi. Yeah, you, Mr. Shoyel, you used my stuff. Yeah, I was missing. Okay, I'm happy to do chesed, but lamaisa, for 3 days, I voluntarily gave to you. You used my my drill. You used my knife. You used my stuff. You used my animal. And what? Now, now you're not even giving back to me. Stories about theft and this. Okay. You're paying? Are you paying me cash? Oh, I'll give you the kefel. But if you say you're going to pay, then the level of my hano is not having cash in my hands, is knowing I will get money. Knowing I will get money is not the getting the money. By other shomrim, I feel some kind of gratitude towards them. And once they said they're going to pay, that promise and my peace of mind, knowing it should be taken care of, is good enough. It balances it out. But you, Mr. Shoyel, my balance, the checks and balance with you are very different. You used my stuff. You're not giving it back to me. Now you're saying you're going to pay. So only once you give me cash, then I'll be happy. And then I'll say, okay, I'm giving you the kefel. Up until then, no, says Abaye. Obviously, Rav Papa didn't say that. Rav Papa, if you look carefully, Rav Papa said, if the shul said he's going to pay, it's good enough. Money talks, yeah. But words don't always pay. Thank you. Shkoyach, thank you very much. Atzlacho Rabba. Yes.